Use the loose material mode switch to maintain hydraulic speed to efficiently load the bucket in easily penetrated material. This switch is momentary. When the machine is shut down, the system will revert to the normal mode. An indicator light on the dash illuminates when the machine is in the loose material mode. The next switch activates the upper and lower boom kickouts and the bucket kickout. To set the upper kickout, raise the bucket to the desired height and depress the lower portion of the switch. This can be set anywhere above horizontal up to maximum height. To set the lower kickout, lower the bucket to the desired height and depress the bottom of the switch again. Lower levels can be set anywhere from ground level to horizontal boom position. To use the upper kickout, pull the lift lever into lift detent and the linkage will stop at the predetermined height. To use the lower kickout, push the lift lever into float detent and the linkage will stop at the preset height. The linkage position must be above the horizontal position for the lower kickout feature to function. To set the bucket angle, place the bucket on the ground, adjust it to the desired dig angle, and depress the top of the same switch. After dumping the bucket, simply pull the bucket lever back into the detent position. The bucket will automatically stop in the dig position you selected. You should not operate the 988G unless you are comfortable with the location and function of all the controls. Look in the Operation and Maintenance Manual to review any controls for which you need more information. Now, it's time to start the engine and look at some operator techniques. As you start, you should not crank the engine for more than 30 seconds. Once it does start, keep the engine speed low as the engine warms up. Allow additional warm-up time in colder temperatures. Before beginning work, you need to do two things. First, cycle the attachments so the oil warms up in those systems. Secondly, check the service brakes. Apply the brake, then shift into third forward gear and gradually increase the RPM to high idle. The machine should not move. Now let's look at operating techniques. Beginning with face loading the bucket, the important things to remember are good initial penetration and lifting the bucket slightly to keep the weight on the front tires. But before you begin, make sure that the upper and lower kickouts are set to meet your loading needs. The bucket should be square to the face for even load distribution. Avoid corner loading the bucket. Corner loading will affect productivity, put unnecessary stress on the linkage, and cause uneven wear on the GET. When you keep the loader straight, you are also extending the life of the articulation joint by reducing stress. Maximize your rim pull for easier loading and faster cycle times. In easy-to-penetrate material, once the bucket has entered the face and is slightly off the floor, rack the bucket back until it's totally filled. For harder-to-penetrate material, lift the bucket to put pressure on the front tires. Work the bucket and lift as necessary to fill. Use the impeller clutch torque converter and rim pull control system to minimize wheel slip. The best loading is at the bottom of the face, not partway up. Be sure to keep the loader flat on the floor. Don't climb or comb the face, and don't drag the face down with the bucket's edge. The bucket should be full before the lift arm reaches a horizontal position. Before you leave the face, shake off any excess material to keep spills to a minimum. Keep the floor clean, smooth, and well drained. Work an area that's at least 1.5 buckets wide. This will make your job easier and reduce damage to the tires. When loading large, oversized material, make sure the first bucket of material that you load into the truck is of more normal composition. This will help cushion the truck bed when you dump large rock on the remaining passes. If you encounter a large rock in the face, dig around it to loosen it rather than attempting to pry it out. This will be easier on both you and the machine. Remember that truck operators key off your position, so be aware of them as they enter the work area. Spot the truck with a full bucket as close to the pile as possible and at the correct angle. About 45 degrees is best. Once the truck is positioned with the side rails directly under the lower bucket pins, sound your horn to signal the truck operator to stop. When dumping the first load, keep the lift boom low and roll the bucket into the truck softly. A tight V position is best with no more than 2 tire revolutions in each direction. It's also helpful to work the face from left to right when possible. As the loader moves along the face to the right, it provides a good place to spot the truck for the tight V pattern. On the last pass, shake or feather the bucket if needed to avoid any material carryback in the bucket. As you're backing away from the truck, roll the bucket back into the digging position, and when you've cleared the sides of the truck, lower the lift boom to prepare for the next pass. Study the load on each pass to be sure it tapers from front to back, remains balanced and centered, and isn't too heavy over the rear axles. In load and carry operations, after you've loaded the bucket, make sure to shake the bucket in order to keep spillage to a minimum. When traveling, carry the bucket low. Use the features designed for load and carry applications, such as the lockup converter and ride control, if so equipped. Take advantage of the upper kickout setting to preset the proper dump height, and as you approach your destination, begin raising the lift boom. Once you've dumped the load, reverse and rack the bucket back to the dig position and lower the lift boom by placing the lever in the float position if you've preset the lower kickout. If you have not pre-selected the lower kickout, placing the lever in the float position will result in the bucket dropping to the ground. When traveling back to the material face, clean up any spillage in your travel path. Regardless of application, it's best to keep your work area clean. The floor area should be smooth and drain away from the loading area or stockpile. You can check the operation and maintenance manual for more operating techniques. Don't be in a hurry at the end of the workday. As part of your shutdown procedure, park on a level surface, lower the implements, place the transmission in neutral, engage the parking brake, and run the engine at idle for about 5 minutes. This will avoid damage to the turbo as it cools. This would be a good time to clean the cab. Once the engine is cool, turn the key off and remove it, and lock the cab. Remember to use 3 points of contact as you climb down the ladder. Then check underneath for any leaks that may have occurred during your shift. The design of the cab and controls in the 988G allows for easy and efficient operation. If you follow the instructions and safety regulations in the Operation and Maintenance Manual and adhere to regular maintenance schedules, the 988G will give you excellent productivity.